Robertson, of course, filmfestivallive.com. It's Monday, but not for me. I mean, I've been going all weekend with people calling and me chiming in on Instagram and Facebook and so on about the unfortunate incident that happened in New Mexico with Alec Baldwin and that set. Later on today, just so you know, on this channel, I'll be putting it out, but there's some international press and so on it. But I'm going to have a sort of a panel. But I want to make something clear, and I'm going to put a disclaimer in this program right now, is that I'm not going to be talking about what happened there as much. What I'm going to be talking about with a panel of people is safety on set. Because what I'm finding is there's a very large misconception about how these work, what they do, the difference between blanks and real loads. And it's disturbing because one of the things that's happening is coming from my firearms friends. I've got my movie friends and I've got my firearm friends and I got my weapons people. And the fact of the matter is that there's a lot of misconception, like why did he point it at a lot of misconception, because having a firearm and being on a range and doing the rules and procedures there is vastly different than being on a movie set. We'll talk about that later. But today, here we are. It's Monday. I'm pretty excited. It's going to be a good week. And I'm going to start the week off with a really awesome guest that I met through a good friend of mine, Sean. He is, he's the shit when it comes to stunts. And not only stunts, but I met him, and soon, as soon as I get a little free time, I'm going to be putting together my weapon/stunt demo with him, Daniel. And you know what? I forgot to ask Daniel exactly how to say his name, but he's in the wings, and I'm going to take a shot at it once he comes. I think it's Lucero. He's shaking his head. I'm going to bring him on in just a second here. I'm going to get right to the show. By the way, if you're interested, we are live streaming on 3 Facebook Lives, which is Film Festival Live, my own personal Facebook, also on our YouTube channel and Twitch and a lot of other places that you can see it. If you miss this and you're watching the recording, unfortunately, you won't be able to do what I'm about to say, which is if you want to chime in, ask questions, whatever. Oh, there we go. You can do that. Looks like someone just did that and they're saying hi. Awesome. So if you're interested in asking questions during this time, it's going to be great because I love talking to people like Daniel because, you know, it makes our industry a lot of fun and very exciting because you see, the thing is that we are the people that, of course, as actors, because Daniel's an actor as well, we are the people that spend our time train ourselves to be able to make what you watch on TV where we go, what the hell? That's amazing. How can they do that? And I'm going to show you exactly what that means right now. Hang tight. Watch this. Yeah, pretty sure that I don't know if I need to do a show now. I mean,
You made me look like a superhero. Don't
well,
do that
no,
at
actually,
home.
you did that part. I just broadcasted. Daniel, I appreciate you coming on the show, my friend, and
But
welcome.
thank you. Thanks
Yeah,
for
by the
having me.
way, anybody, if you're interested in following Daniel, which you are, on, oh, I put the large L. I should have put the, what, is that right, Daniel? Is that your
I don't
Instagram?
think it matters on
Is that
Instagram.
right?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Okay. How do you say your last name?
So it's Italian name. It's Locicero, but in English is Locicero, I
Lo
guess.
Cicero.
Yeah, yeah. Which means I found out recently, because in Italian, Italy, they used to assign name to what they were doing.
Yes.
So my name means chickpea.
Chickpea. You know what?
So
When
Lo Cicero is actually the chickpea harvester.
so when I think of you, I definitely think of a chickpea.
Yeah, hummus.
But wait, I got to ask you though, because this says with one L. Should I be putting two L's?
No, it's good. I try to be fancy and use the L of Daniel as my last name because it's
You are
Los.
fancy. You are definitely fancy.
Oops.
Uh, let's talk a little bit about first of all, you are that's amazing. I mean, you are. I guess you could say you're almost kind of like me with with how I have all these different weapons I do, but I don't think that you don't do anything. I can see that you've got, of course, weapon play. You've got driving. You've got obviously parkour stuff that you do. Uh, the first question I got to ask you is, did you drive your mom nuts?
Well, I never told her, but she already knew. Really, I mean, I started stunt when I was probably 2 years old.
Yeah.
Started to climb up all those 20-foot pole, and yeah, I was driving her crazy at the time, but she got used to it with time. So now I think she's numb.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I know when my mother, bless her soul, when my mother was alive and I was doing a lot of this gun stuff and the ropes and what she was like, but you're going to get hurt. And you know what? I did break a few ribs and a couple of bones here and there, but that's the one thing I want to talk to you about is that and I don't want to talk anything about the situation that happened in New Mexico, but I do want to talk about is safety because I have to tell you, watching those stunts that you're doing, and I know the stunts you're doing, there's a tremendous amount of rehearsal, training, and just protocol for literally from whether it's a jerk line or it's even as simple as coming into a situation with a blank gun or a gun. Talk about the safety parts of it because I know that you're real big on that.
Well, really, the safety comes for stuntmen, comes with trainings. So the more you train on doing something, and more chances you have less chance you have to injure yourself because you're more familiar about the move,
Right.
about the height, about driving, about whatever technical skills you learn.
Yeah.
The more you're doing it, the more chance you'll have to succeed.
Yeah.
When the camera is rolling. So.
Right.
So there is no really secret. It's work, 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 and
Sure.
then safety obviously comes natural. But safety could also come from other people as well, telling telling other people, don't stay around, don't be there, don't be in the line of the fire, even though it's a blank.
Right.
Don't no, don't safety is a teamwork.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
always a
so I have to
reminder.
ask you, with that being said, how in the hell did you practice the new stunt I saw you do, which you talked to me about and showed me when I met you, about the side of the mountain? I mean, hold on a second. I'm gonna go climb the side of a mountain. Let's work this out. That is, in my opinion, kind of like the new stunt. I mean, I've never seen a combat on a wall like that. So, how'd you come
Yeah.
up with that one?
Well, I had a French guy, great stuntman, who taught me repelling, but repelling Aussie style, so face first.
Right.
So
Uh
your
huh.
head is actually facing the cliff, and we started to rehearse. The only thing is when you start to do fight like this, it means you're really comfortable going up and down and
Yeah.
doing. doing rappelling. So first and foremost is to get your technical rappelling Aussie style and all the way around, all
Right.
kinds of stuff down, because the attachment is different once you are able to do a 360. So you're fighting on your way down, but then you turn it around and then you're fighting up,
Yeah.
so you have to be familiar and comfortable with this before we throw a choreography. Now you have to think about what's the move, and if you think about your ropes and all that, that's where accident can happen.
Yeah.
So you really need to get first the technical training down, so then you can do it on, you
Yeah.
can look good doing it.
When I worked with Cirque du Soleil and we were in Montreal training, one of the things we had to do was we did different. I did 2 point harness because I did 2 shows a night, 5 days a week. So that's like 1,300 shows, and it does take that. It's kind of like training to be an astronaut. You have to know what it's like if you're in this situation that's not normal because your equilibrium it could be thrown off, and you need to be able to know that you can take a deep breath and get to that spot like you're saying, because I was 200 feet in the sky every night, and this is actually a very good point, is that you have to trust the rigging, the riggers. You got to trust what you're doing. And and one more point I want to make on that is that when I'm trick roping and I'm doing my thing, you can't look like, and I know you'll validate this, in any of the things you're doing, you can't look like you're going through the things in your head. You have to have it down so pat that you're just going, boom, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then I do this and do that. That's my action, because that's what you need to do as a
You
stuntman
Yep.
and actor.
Yeah, you better believe it. There is already so much to think of than just trying to think of your own, technique that you haven't mastered yet. So you need to have it mastered, so have it out of the way. So now you can focus on, on safety, for
Yeah.
instance,
The
or
other thing that I know that you can talk about, which I'd like you to, is that you're in a world where you're being put into what a normal person would be called extreme danger. Because if you're doing a fire stunt, because I deal with fire, if you're dealing with, and something was to happen, you need to know how to behave, respond. And like you said, it comes with do it, do it, do it, do it. Maybe
safety. And then safety measure, if something happen, if while you're on fire you feel that burn, go on the ground,
yeah,
and you have a hand signal where they
yep,
come out the carbon dioxide, and then
yeah,
turn it off
yeah.
for you. So
Stop,
you have
drop,
to
and
know the safety measure for sure, and that's communication with your team.
yeah, stop, drop, and roll.
Exactly.
I used to say that all the time with Cirque du Soleil because they had 7 people in the front that you didn't see in black. That if something happened and my Kevlar ropes, because I one time I was doing it and it wrapped around my neck, but luckily I understand
Yeah.
motion and I knew the motion and I could get it out, and it
Uh,
went onto the floor. But the point is that you have to do this stuff over and over again. So when people see this, they have to know that Daniel's not just going, "Hey guys, why don't we try to throw me off a cliff?" Okay. That's not the way it goes. Let me ask you, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite stunt that you've either done or you do that you go like, hey, if someone says, look, I need you to crash into 100 boxes from 100 feet, what's your favorite?
well, one of my favorite is actually one I did. I mean, I have different ones and for different reasons, but this one in particular is pretty good. It's the first one you see on my reel. Actually, is that 60-foot drop
Into the
tackling
water.
into. Doesn't seem like much, but when you tackle someone and you land on your head 60 foot high into water, which is not soft when you hit the
No,
water at
not.
60 foot. Um, I mean, it is some pride to it. That is, yeah. So, I mean, and I met one of a great friend that is another stuntman. I met him on the spot through another friend of mine, and we started to meet for that stunt, and met the guy on the day, and his name is Patrick. and it came to me, and it's like, Patrick, you're gonna do that stunt with Daniel, gonna do that 60 foot high,
Yeah.
fall into water. And not knowing him, and I trusted my friend that the guy knew what he was doing, right? So it's a trust, because when you are doing a tackle and you're going on the water head first 60 foot, what you don't want to do is detach yourself in the air, because if you hit the water and you hit it again, that's
Done.
over.
Yeah.
And you don't want to lose consciousness when you hit the water,
No.
because then you sink, right? And then so that was the deal, is to really, once we get hold of each other, no matter what happened, we keep
Hold on.
holding on to each other, and we did it. So it was a teamwork. um
Done.
it was a great stunt
It
as
is a great stunt, and I'll tell you, definitely agreeing with you on the water parts is that you've got to be, again, as a stunt person, you have to be comfortable with water, fire, earth, wind, and fire. And I did a commercial once with super hose or pocket hose or something, and they wanted me to wrap myself in about 100 foot of garden hose, and then fall into about a 12 foot pool, 12 foot
Mhm.
deep. And I got to tell you, I said I need to rehearse this, because what happens was that if you watch the video, you see me fall in there. But what I got to tell you is that if you freak, you're done. Because I was like, I got tangled because it's 150 feet or something, and I was spinning and I was spinning, and then I fell in. So I was kind of a little bit dizzy to begin with. And again, the point is that water is not what people think it is, because you could hit it wrong and it's you're done.
Turns into concrete.
Yeah, yeah, and I appreciate you saying the thing about the teamwork, the trust you need. You think actors need the trust by falling off a table and being caught. When you're talking about working with stunts, and you said you knew the person, I think, that was coordinating, but you didn't know the guy you're doing it with. It's not an easy thing to do. Let me ask you, what's your favorite film that you've done?
Did you say film?
Yeah, what's your favorite film? Do you have one?
I do not. I had this question many times. I mean, I can't make up my mind.
No, I understand.
So
People
many of
ask
them.
me that all the
Uh,
time. I
yes.
go,
I mean, if you talk to me, what's the best action movies of all time, or where I actually admire them, and the choreography was actually Jackie Chan in the 80s and 90s.
yeah,
That's amazing. Put a lot of work into those fight choreographies,
no,
and if you know what I'm talking
I
about,
do. Yeah,
probably will agree, because they have some crazy stunts in there.
yeah.
And over there, safety is not as tight as here in America.
I know.
So,
I know.
over there is some stunts knew they were going to injure themselves in this one. That's why they had 3 or 4 guys doing the same stunt, and so I mean, with all due respect, it's just, and also, going back to what were you saying, as a stuntman, you need to know how to do this and this and this. Not automatically. There's some specialized stunt people that only do cars,
Or fire.
or only do fires,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
or only do fights, or only do hardfall.
yeah.
So there's some. Stunt people that are just specialized in one
Sure.
thing, that they be hired just to do that.
Sure. Absolutely. And you brought up something really important, I think I want to mention as well, is that yes, the United States of America is much different in regards to a lot different in regards to safety precautions. I did O Matador, or The Killer, in for Netflix for 46 days in Brazil. They don't really care much about, because they wanted to do a saddle pull, and I was arranging it in the harness, and they went, we can't afford the harness. I'm like, I ain't doing a saddle pull then. And in case you know, a saddle pull, for everybody out there, there's two ways of doing it. One is either from the leg, it's the harness is around your body, and the rope goes to your leg and looks like it's tied on it, so it's pulling the leg, or there's a front pull where you can pull it. Either way, and then I've worked in India. There's not a lot of safety precautions when you get outside the country in some cases. Talk about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going there on Saturday. I'm going to India
Oh, are you?
for a month and a half. Yeah, yeah. I'm action coordinating and fight choreographing a TV show called Royal Blood, and it's gonna be a big thing, with castles and all that. But I'm also going there to trying to help as far as safety. And there's gonna be lots of fights. It's gonna be big battlefield. So I hope, and I'm bringing an assistant with me. So I hope that my eyes or my assistant eyes will catch all the unsafe, precaution, because we are kind of responsible
Yeah,
for the people. So, but when there's a lot of people, it's hard to see and
it
to
is.
have the aware. So, we'll
Especially if
pay
the
attention.
Yeah, especially if the protocol is not normal. And I hate to say this about, well, it's happening here in America, and I think we've seen this recently. Is that uh, you? How long you've been doing this industry?
Well, it started for me to answer every time because my first stunt was 2003, but
Okay,
it was in Seattle, so I started there slowly, and then when I moved here, that's where I really
so
concentrated
we
on stuff.
2003. You've been doing this for about 20 years or more,
Mm.
and I just will say this is that the how we get paid, the amount we get paid has changed a bit, and that is so crucial with what we do, whether it's stunts, guns, whatever, because you need to have people that are incentivized as what we do to be trained all the time. And when you step outside and you're not in America, in some cases, I'll say they will just say, yeah, well, we don't have budget for that. Just, fake it. Like in Brazil, they're like, can we just get some garbage boxes or something? I'm like, and do what? Why don't we get a sled while we're at it and put the guy? I mean, the point is that
Yeah.
we have tried in America to have union standards that you have to live and abide by.
Mm.
That doesn't always happen, especially if you're on a non-union set and they don't
Mm.
have the money, or if you're on a
Mm.
low budget union set. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, I understand your definitely concerned and having eyes watching where you're about to go
Yeah, it'd
because,
be challenging to for me to come and impose what I call safety because it's different over there. So it's something we're gonna have to do anyway, because
yeah,
it's my name in there. So I just want to make sure that everything's gonna be made to so people can
safe as possible.
can survive the experience, I
Yeah,
guess.
safe as possible.
Yeah,
Let me ask you here. Let's just talk about one more thing, and then I'm going to ask you a final question. You have a little more time?
sure.
Great. Uh, so if someone says, "Hey, Daniel," I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be a mom saying, "How do I get my kid started in stunts?" But if someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, Daniel, I really would like to learn how to be a stunt person," uh, what would you tell them? Other than don't. No.
First, I mean, obviously, that person. First question is: Are you passionate about it? What pushes you to do that?
Good.
Because to throw yourself, going through a table or a glass window or all that, it's got to be fun for you. You got to be motivated. I've known some actors that wanted to be stunned, but when it's about hitting hard the floor, they're not for it. Oh, I want to be a stunt, but I don't want to hit the floor.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Chances are you will never be a stunt, because I mean, really, falling is number one to do. When I said, there is specificity that stunts do. Falling on the floor, if I had to choose one, you need to do is falling. Because you often play a bad guy that gets shot and go down. It puts squibs on you, and then get a couple shots and then you go down.
Yeah.
So if you can't fall properly or fall hard, chances are you're not doing the right career. If I
Yeah,
might
no,
say.
no, I agree
So,
with that.
so
So
but
what
if you are motivated, if that's your passion, then I'd say train, train with stunt people, get information. Where are they? Where do they train? Go there, meet them. Show them what they can do. Learn from them. Socialize. create a surrounding of stunt friends. And that's probably the best to connect, because if you never worked as a stunt person, the stunt coordinator who wants to hire you, if you never had some work, and that, you probably won't
No.
not take the risk, because if something happened and if you can't do it, he's gonna get yelled at by the director, not you. And he might risk to lose his job as well. So really, it starts with trust. He's got to know that you can do that move. So the first thing would be probably do a stunt reel with all of your moves that you can do.
Sure.
Know how to fall, if you can flip, if you can drive a car or a motorcycle, if you can do a high fall, if you can ride a horse, any things that can show that your abilities on it is called a stunt reel. Like you
Yes.
just
And
showed
by the
my step.
way,
Yeah.
side note, please follow Daniel on his Instagram. And if you are at that moment where you need a stunt reel, as you can see by his reel, but I have seen other people's reels, and I'm signing up right now. Where's my wallet? To work with Daniel to put together a lot of my weapon stuff, because I have some ideas, and he's a master at doing this. And I say that wholeheartedly and confidently, because I know a lot of stunt people, and not all of them get the angles, the understanding, and shoot and edit and know how to do that. And I, of course, have seen a lot of Daniel's work. And so, if you were looking for a stunt reel, definitely Daniel's the person. But he's going to vet you. He's going to ask you some real tough questions about what you can do, what you want to do, because I know that everything you put your name on, Daniel, that you make sure it's got the seal of approval. Because you did say something really important, which is that about the other stunt, any stunt coordinator, is that you can't risk. This is not an acting job per se. It is, but it's more of a physical action and reaction job. And if they don't know that you can do this and you have nothing to show for, yeah. And one last
Yeah.
thing I'll say about that is that it's not a real easy industry to get into. I've been doing this, like I said, for 40 years, and I remember back in the 80s and early 90s working on A Fine Romance and other stuff, and doing some stunt stuff. But because I wasn't a brotherhood, I didn't get a lot of the jobs, because it is a it is a group of people that are expecting high expectations and safety, and being a loose cannon isn't going to get you any work in this industry. So following people like Daniel, I recommend.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks for the.
Um,
Um, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead.
exactly it. Yeah, it's like a snowball effect. Once you start to get to your first job as a stunt, then you have a reference. Then you say, "Oh, I worked for him." So now the other stunt coordinator who wants to hire you might go and ask the other stunt coordinator who you just
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah.
Is he reliable? Is this? Is that? So it's like a snowball effect. The more you work, the more you work.
Right. And all you have to do is something wrong once, and you won't work. So there it is. Because people are depending on you in a much farther sort of scope of things when you're
Yeah,
dealing with stunts. Final
yeah.
question I want to ask you, brother, is this is really just whether or not you don't have to answer this in regards to the industry. You don't have, it could be about life. I want your philosophy. That do you have a passion, a philosophy that you love when someone comes up to you and they go, "All right, tell me what you're about, Daniel." You could tell me how to make pound cake or a bunt cake and go, "You really got to add this much butter." Or you can say, "I think if you want a wonderful life, you could do this." Is there a philosophy that Daniel holds that I want you to share with people?
Well, if there were one, I would say community. Yeah, I would say, sharing all your knowledge, everything that you have, so that person could know and could be even better than you. A good teacher wants the student to be even better than him. So for me, I am very open minded, arm open to teach the one who wants to learn. And that would be my philosophy: is teach everything you have, don't to the person that you think is worth it. And don't hold back, and help each other.
Yeah.
Because help can come from anywhere. You can help someone, they can help you back, and don't expect it, but if you see that a person in need, especially if it's someone that has the same mentality, then philosophy, then don't hesitate to go and help.
Right.
So
Well, that old adage of sometimes the teachers learn more than the students, and that's because you're receptive. I
yeah.
would say, in my opinion, that this industry we work in, Hollywood, movies, TV, is definitely it has a lot of egos, and egos are awesome for you to succeed and push yourself, but really shitty on set. So you should know that. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'd say ego is necessary, to be self-aware, you know
Yeah,
uh um but then, as when it comes to other people, everybody's got talent.
yeah,
It's just different talent. It's
sure,
that's why you gotta respect and honor everyone on set, or every people there. Again, you're doing an art piece all together, so even the person who bring coffee brings the good humor to
yeah,
the team. So it's a teamwork. I don't care what you're doing in on set. Everybody is a part of the team.
sure,
So, but yeah, as you said before, the teacher, you teach what you have to learn. So I say.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's
And
it's
sometimes, it's funny because I've even just recently have talked to people that are half my age, and they're talking, and I'm just listening. I'm going, holy crap, I didn't really know that. And I never thought about it that way. And if you're receptive, which you should be in this industry, because that's what you're talking about, is if you want to make connections with people in general, but especially in this industry, you really have to be receptive to doing something really important, which is this: listening. Yeah. Because it's not always about your opinion and your ego. Sometimes you have to just listen, take a beat, and you'll learn. Especially when I'm sure that you're coordinating and you're talking through something. You're the law. You're the law. And so listen up because Daniel is speaking. Daniel, thanks for coming on the show. It was
thank
truly
you.
a pleasure. I know I'll have you on again. Maybe I should just have you on from India. That would be awesome. Uh,
On top of an elephant.
Yeah. I don't know if you can do the riding. I saw you ride that bull. I'm wondering if you could do that on an elephant in India. I doubt it.
Why
Anyway,
not?
you
Let's
never know.
try.
You never know. They have wild Indian, wild, what do you call it? Wild Indian. They have wild animals there. All
Yeah.
right, good. I appreciate your time, brother. And by the way,
Thank you.
please follow Daniel on Instagram. You can see it's Daniel with one L, and his last name starts with an L. But check this out. Make a screenshot. Do what you can. Follow him. Ask any questions. Please don't ask really stupid questions like, "Hey, can you get me a job?" I get a lot of those. Nope, can't do it. Trying to get myself one. Anyway, with that being said, be safe. And it was truly a pleasure, my friend.
Pleasure is shared. Thank you.
Hang tight right there. I'm going to close it up and then come back to you.
All right.
All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for watching the show today. Remember, today at 2, which is only a couple hours away, we're going to do this live stream with a bunch of people that I know and respect in the business. Michael Pfeiffer, who has done a lot of films in the last 20 or 30 years, but a lot of Westerns that I've been in. And he's going to talk about some stuff like CGI and so on. Joey Dillon, who is amazing as well, good friend of mine, and some other people. So it's going to be fun. Victor is a really great martial artist. So in any case, I really hope you have a wonderful day. If you can't catch the live stream or you missed this one, check it out on our page, of course, filmfestivallive.com. Be safe, be well, be successful, and be considerate. We'll see you next time.